it's Margarita Sweeney-Baird here from Inclusive Skating, and I'm so glad that you could join us today for this little chat. Now, I know you very well, and quite a number of the skaters know you very well because you've obviously been a head coach at major international events for our skaters on several occasions. But lots of people may not know you, so I'm just wondering if you could actually sort of share some information about yourself and your involvement with inclusive skating.
Okay, so I started ice skating myself when I was very young, about 7 years old, and took to the ice, and just I've loved it ever since. I'm so lucky to be able to do what I do. I competed myself from a young age and was British Junior Pair Champion at 12 years old, and went on to do solo skating and was ranked third British Senior Ladies, and then went on to represent Great Britain in the World Championships in Paris in 1989. After this, I went to work for Disney on Ice, so I worked for them and I did their shows and tours, which was absolutely amazing experience, been all over the world. I then decided to come home, wasn't sure what I was going to do, and my first skating coach, Christine Briggs, gave me a call and said, would I be interested, because she was going to finish, she was retiring, and that there was a job, and would I like to apply along with some others. And it all started there in December 1991, a long time ago. So I'm showing my age now, and just over the years taught children of all abilities, ages, and adults, and then about 11 years ago, a very special young lady came along to the rink. I'm sure some people will have heard of Meg McFarlane, and she came skating, and she just took to me and I took to her, and we just got this real good friendship, and my heart just she just, I don't know, she just set off something inside that just was so magical. And for Meg, she used to think that skating was all about falling over, because that's what she saw. So she thought that you didn't have to stand up on your feet, you just sit down. So for a while that's what happened, and then one day we managed to get her to just walk from one side of the rink to the other, and it was absolutely amazing. And the feeling that I got as a coach, I was so proud. And it isn't always about winning medals, it's, and ever since then I've followed and we got involved, and luckily we met yourself, Margarita, and inclusive skating, and since there it's been non-stop. Meg's been all over the world, she's very well known, everybody knows Meg's name, and I'm just honoured to be a part of it all, really. And it's just so lovely that they're so included in everything, and Meg is such a big part of our own ice skating club, Lammas Ice Skating Club. She obviously she goes there once a week on a Wednesday, she skates with everybody else, and she does the jumps, she does the spins, and she's just such a big part of the skate club. Everybody loves Meg to bits, and being part of being able to get Meg involved, with Meg having Down syndrome, so she's got lots of obstacles and things that we have to overcome. It's just great for all these achievements, and helping. I think anybody can skate. You don't have to. You can. I've got a little boy that comes along once a week. He loves it. He's in his wheelchair. Again, he's got Down syndrome, but he joins in with his sisters and his family, and his little face, he gets on that ice and we whiz round, and it's just an amazing feeling, not just for them to be able to be involved, but for me as well.
Oh, it's absolutely lovely. I've really enjoyed being with Meg and yourselves at lots of the events. It's really quite special. It's got a lovely, lovely atmosphere. And the family as well, they're just so very supportive.
Yeah, definitely. They're so committed, and Meg, she comes to the rink in the morning before. She's at college now, so she goes to college 3 days a week. She's there before, and as I say, she goes to ice skating club on a Wednesday at time. And yeah, it's such a huge commitment from them as well. But they're so supportive, and I think with skating, it's such a nice sport because parents are involved and they're there alongside them and they can support them. And I think that anybody, with inclusive skating, and people have got special needs, or it's just nice that they get that backup from the parents that they need, and that they're there all the time. You need them as much as they need me there. So yeah, it's lovely.
Oh, it's absolutely super. Now, everyone's missing the ice very much, but it's also meant that it's been a bit of an opportunity for us to develop something that had actually not been developed as much it maybe should have, and that was our inline skating and our roller skating. And one of the things that's very special about yourself is that you've actually done all three, and in particular roller skating. So I would love it if you could share some information with everyone about the differences between ice skating, inline skating, and roller skating.
Okay, right. Well, I obviously always ice skated, so I loved to have a go at roller skating, but I always found it really difficult on the four wheels because they're so kind of flat, and you have to sort of lean slightly forward and skate very flat-footed on the four wheels. On the roller boots, on the inline skates, they're absolutely fantastic. The ones that I've got are like a blade, so the wheels are not straight across. They're on like a rocker, like a blade, with it's not a stopper, but it's like a toe pick at the front. Absolutely amazing. And difference, I think, what I found personally was obviously you need somewhere to be able to go to do roller skating. You need a little bit of room where it's safe. You need to have the right kind of flooring. It's a bit difficult going on the road because there's obviously dangers there, and you mustn't do that. You need to be safe. If you've got like a patio, it's probably a little bit better. You've just got to be careful about. My first thoughts were falling over, because if you fall over on the ice, you slide, and whereas if you fall over on hard ground, you don't slide. It's like a bit of a bump. But other than that, you soon adapt. And I think if you have done ice skating as well anyway, you do soon adapt. You've just got to adjust your weight slightly. I think in roller skating, you tend to. I remember the first time I tried back crossovers, and my weight was too far back, and I did nearly a backward roly-poly, and everybody in the class was laughing. So that was on a course that I went on. But I soon adjusted, and I think that it's you can adapt quite easily from roller, inline, and ice skating. As I say, it's difficult at the moment because of lockdown, but if you've got a little bit of room, you don't need too much room, but you just need to make sure you're safe. There's no obstacles, you're not going to crash into anything. And you need somebody there as well, like a parent or a carer, that can just keep an eye on you, make sure that you're nice and safe. And obviously, if you've got any equipment, helmet, things like that, wrist guards, things like that can help as well. As I say, it is different, but you soon adapt to it. It's really good. I've really enjoyed myself on my rollers.
Brilliant, brilliant. So you've actually done the roller skating coaching course as well, is that right as well?
Yes, for the British Roller Skating Federation, yes. And what it was the leisure centre where I work, they were thinking of doing, they'd seen these inline skates somewhere and decided that they would try and put a programme together, and offered courses to some of our coaches. So I think there was 4 or 5 of us that went on this course, and we had a fabulous time. It was in Leicester, and we all went through the badge system, and we had to obviously have a go ourselves, and we had to do role reversal. So one of us was the coach and one of us was skater and things like that. It was really good interaction and really good team building as well. So we not only had a fabulous time, but came up with a qualification as well. So that was really good. And then not long after that, the local leisure centre, which is literally a 5-minute walk from me, ran a class. So I actually did a 6-week roller course just over the road at the leisure centre in the sports hall. Sports hall floors are amazing. You've just got to be careful if there's any wet on it, it gets a bit slippy, but sports hall floors are great when obviously leisure centres are open. But yeah, it was fabulous, and I loved it. And you can, it's so great. I've encouraged some of my own skaters at the ice rink to get these inline skates, and some of them are so glad that they've got them now. And I know that some of them have got these skates on order and are wanting to get more involved in this side of it. So it will be lovely to be able to do this and encourage people to have a go at roller as well.
Oh, that's really good. There's so many of the skaters wanting to be able to, keep their skating skills up.
That's right.
And it's also really helpful as well, because not everyone's got the benefit of an ice rink. If you at a lot of the rural communities across the whole of the country, for example, in Wales, you've only got 2 ice rinks. You've got the one in Cardiff and you've got the one in Deeside in the north.
Yeah.
Nothing else in the middle.
No.
If you look at England as well, it's pretty much the same thing. If you've got like a very large city or conurbation, then you've usually got an ice rink. But very often people are having to travel an hour and a half to get to an ice rink.
Yeah.
So it's really good to be able to provide, inline skating in particular.
Definitely.
For everyone. And Scotland's the exact same. You've only got 1 or 2 ice rinks in Scotland, and then you've got whole areas where you've got rural communities where they've got no access to the sport at all.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really good idea. And I'm hoping that we're going to be able to encourage lots of volunteers to start to learn how to coach at least basic skating skills and lead some of the activities, so we've got more people that are actually going, to provide skating for everyone.
Yeah. I mean, it is fabulous. It is a little bit different, but it's surprising what you can do on the skates. I obviously recommend, like I did, I went on this course and I literally started right at the beginning, right at the start, and worked my way through the levels. I think it's really important because I have seen some skaters that are doing axel jumps and bigger jumps, and they think that they get these skates on, they're so excited and just throw themselves into a jump, and that's not really the way to do it. I think you've got to just take your time and go through all the real lower levels first and work your way up and through to get to the level that you're at on the ice. It's so important to just get used to them, because as I say, your weight does change slightly, balance, and obviously the toe pick's different, and it's your balance and getting your weight over your skates. Just doing basic 3 turns is slightly different, but you can get used to them and you can adapt, and it doesn't affect. From what I've seen, it doesn't affect you going off the ice, doing this off ice skating and then onto the ice. From what I've seen, if anything, it helps. And some of the skaters that have got these skates and have practiced and worked their way through the levels and gone on to doing the jumps have actually found that it's helped the jumps on the ice, because they can get higher, and it's helped the rotation as well. So yeah, I'm sure it's all going to be great, and just hope more and more people get involved.
Yeah, because if we've got more people skating, then we're going to have just more skating activities. Then there's likely to be more ice skating and more inline skating in particular. And I think the skaters tend to have more affinity with the inline skating rather than the roller skating. Why do you think that is?
I'm not sure. I don't know really. I just think that the inline skater, I think everybody can access it, can't they? It's like you said, you don't need an ice rink. You can access you can get some roller skates, and as long as you've got a safe environment to skate in, you can have a go. And there's not all that travelling. Usually around there's like a safe area where there's skate parks. I know there's a skate park not far from me. I'm not sure, it's probably closed at the minute. I haven't been and had a look, but you can always find a little space, and even if you just do your basic exercises, it's better than nothing. So I think that roller, inline, it's just, it's there for everybody. Everybody could have a go at that, isn't it? It's like you said earlier, you don't actually need like an ice rink to do this. You can do it on your doorstep.
Yeah, and it's really good for your balance and your posture. One of the things that we've noticed, because obviously we've been doing quite a lot more inline skating as a result of lockdown, is that you have to hold your balance and your posture extremely well on inline, because it's not quite as forgiving on the ice. The ice, you've got a bit more grip with the blade on the edge, whereas you don't have that sort of like same margin.
No, you don't. And you have to use your core as well, a lot more. So the core tummy muscles are really important. And yeah, to build your strength up. And that's why I don't think you can just throw yourself straight into the big jumps. You've got to go through the process of breaking it all down and going through all those basic levels and building yourself up to that, really, because and sometimes it tires you out. I remember when I first went on the course and we were doing forward and backward crossovers, I was shattered, and obviously another thing, I got really hot because the ice rinks are cold, so it keeps you cool. When you're working hard, you still get hot, but nothing compared to, and I was like, goodness me, what's happening, so yeah, you can get quite hot, but if you've got lots of layers, you can take layers off and cool yourself down.
Yeah, and it's really important that if you do take layers off, that you still put your protection on.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a really good idea to have a protection for your elbows and your wrists. The wrists are the things that get the most amount of injuries when you're doing inline skating.
Right, yeah.
A lot more injuries to your wrist on inline skating than you do with ice skating. So it's a really important thing for people to bear in mind. And also, just to be on the safe side, a helmet or a head protector. The skate safe protectors are really good as well for everyone to use.
Definitely. It's definitely important. When I've spoken to people that have never ice skated and have probably had one or two goes at roller skating, and they've said, oh, do you hurt yourself on the ice? It actually does hurt a little bit less when you fall off the ice. How does that work? Because ice, you slip, I said, yeah, but you slide, whereas when rolling, you just kind of hit the ground and you don't go anywhere. You can fall a little bit, so it is really important to wear that protective gear. And as I say, you do soon adapt, you do soon get used to it. So
you do. Now, you're obviously a really experienced coach. You've been coaching for 30 years and you're particularly experienced at coaching the inclusive skaters. But you also coach quite a lot within the able-bodied as well. What do you think are the significant differences between coaching within inclusive skating and coaching the able-bodied skaters within their system?
Okay, I think inclusive skating, I mean, it's just, I love it. It's just, it's like I said earlier, I just think that it's open to everybody. I think the rewards are there, and they can achieve, everything's achievable. And I think like general competitions, they take time to get there, the test structure and everything else and the training. But I think with like Meg and my general skaters, they kind of do the same things. They still do off ice, they all do that. We obviously do our training on the ice, and we're now encouraging them to do this off ice roller. And so the difference is really, I think it takes a little bit longer with inclusive skaters sometimes to reach your goals, but that's fine, because there's lots of little goals that we can set, and we can set long-term goals as well. So I think it's really important that you've got something to work to, and that's achievable, and that you feel proud of, and then you can move forward. And as I say, sometimes I think it takes a little bit longer, but it isn't a problem. We just go at the pace that is your pace. It doesn't matter.
That's right. And obviously that relates to the skater taking longer to achieve the same goals as the able-bodied. But does that really matter within inclusive skating? Because along the way, they've got so many more things that they can do. Because we've got you know, like the level 1 and the BHF levels and level 2, so that the levels that we've got for them don't exist in the able-bodied system.
No, no, and it's so, that's what I mean, it's so achievable for everybody that wants to give it a go, isn't it? It's, you know, inclusive skating, there's something for everybody. You know, even as I say, I've just started coaching a little boy, only a few months, and he's got Down syndrome, he's in a wheelchair, he can walk a little bit with a frame, but I've sat with his parents and we've gone through some of the levels, and I'm like, he's going to be able to do this, and I said, yeah, you're right, he is. And I printed some from Inclusive Skating from your website, and I sat with his mum and said, look, we can do this and we can do that. And she was like, oh my goodness, this is just unbelievable. And she said, you know, one day, hopefully he'll be able to get up and get across the ice. We did manage to once put him some skates on just so that he could like have skates on his feet. We sat him in his chair, and he actually wanted to get up with his frame. But he's just not strong enough. He's only 6 years old. He's not strong enough yet. So, but the thing is, he already knows that that's what he wants to do. But there's so much that he can achieve from the beginning, really. Just going to the rink and even just putting the skates on his feet.
Yeah.
And for him, he's already achieved so much. He's been on the ice with his sisters. He's skated, and he's just, that's fabulous. And that's what it's all about.
Exactly. In fact, the new badge program, the tier 1, that group actually covers him completely then, because it's intended exactly for that, you know, type of skater. That's there for them to achieve. And once he does get up and moving, then he could go to the BHF level 1.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't end up being able to get out of the wheelchair too much, then he could do the synchro duets and things like that.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be something for him.
That's right. And his mum was just, she couldn't believe it. She just said, I'm so glad that we met you, because we wouldn't have known all about this. And I was like, and I'm so glad I met you, because I can tell you all about it. And it's, you know, I tell her about Meg and Callum and some of the other skaters and what they've achieved and how they've got there. And she's like, wow, this is amazing. So hopefully, you know, he's gonna, once we, you know, this lockdown's finished and we can get back to the rink, then we'll be seeing him in the competition soon and seeing him doing his badges and just being involved. He would just think that's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. I think that goes back to the initial goal that I had, and that was to include absolutely everyone. And I just had a very open door policy, and anyone that walked in the door, I thought, how do I get you included?
Yeah, definitely. It's amazing, and the badge system that you've created, it's accessible and it's achievable for everybody, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? And it's about making them feel good about themselves and feeling proud, feeling that they can set small goals and bigger goals, and they're achievable, and it's great, and it's great for the parents as well.
It is, and it's going to be very useful for everyone, particularly during lockdown, because people are going to have to start at the beginning on the inline skills and actually go through all those like badges, you know, to try to build up the skills on the inline and to do it like safely and carefully. So they can actually literally start at the beginning of the badge program and just use the version that's for the inline type.
Yeah.
So they'll all get
so
too.
I know, it'll be fantastic. So they'll all be able to give it a go.
So they're going to be so busy in lockdown, you know.
I know. I'm so excited about it all.
Well, tomorrow we've actually got our very first session with you, actually doing some actual coaching with the inline skaters.
Yes.
So that's going to be really exciting. So I think that's probably a good opportunity for us to say, you know, bye, and let's get ready, you know, for bed and get ourselves all sorted and ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight and actually sharing some of your background. It's an absolute pleasure to have you involved with inclusive skating, and we just hope that you're going to continue working with all of our skaters in our community for many, many more decades.
Definitely, will do.
Bye.
Bye.